The first time Claudia demanded a key to our home was the day Daniel and I moved in together. Every mother should have access to her son's place, she insisted, with a smile that never reached her eyes. I was 29 years old and desperate to make a good impression on my new mother-in-law. Daniel squeezed my hand under the table and whispered, "We would discuss it later." We never did. My name is Valeria Marino. I work as an architectural visualization specialist at a prestigious firm in Valencia. I create photorealistic renders of buildings before they exist. I transform blueprints into dreams clients can see. I notice details others miss. I should have noticed the pattern sooner. The housewarming party for our apartment was my first real warning. 12 people gathered in our small living room that Saturday evening. The scent of paella filled the air. Claudia arrived 30 minutes early while I was still getting ready. "I used my key to let myself in," she announced. My stomach dropped. Daniel had given her a key without telling me. "I thought we decided to wait," I said to Daniel that night. "Mom was worried about emergencies," he replied. "She promises to call first." She never called first. Not once in 3 years. 3 months into our marriage, I returned home to find Claudia rearranging our bedroom furniture. "This layout has much better energy," she declared. My private space had been invaded. My clothes were neatly folded in different drawers. My reading chair now faced the window instead of the bed. Daniel said I was overreacting when I called him at work. "She means well," he said. "She has an eye for design." I am the designer. I have won awards for my spatial compositions. My opinions about our own bedroom apparently mattered less than hers. The incidents multiplied like rabbits. Claudia would stop by to drop off food while we were working. "Daniel needs home-cooked meals," she would say. My cooking apparently did not qualify. She would reorganize our kitchen cupboards because this is how Daniel likes things arranged. She would water our plants even after they drowned from her previous visit. Each time, Daniel defended her. "She just wants to help." His voice grew more irritated with each complaint. I started to wonder if I was the problem. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe this was normal in Spanish families. I began swallowing my objections like bitter pills. Our 5th anniversary arrived on a warm June evening. Daniel had planned a romantic dinner at home. I left work early to prepare. I opened our front door to find Claudia hosting a surprise anniversary party in our living room. 15 people shouted "Surprise!" as I stood frozen in shock. Daniel's college friends, Claudia's bridge club ladies, Daniel's ex-girlfriend Lucia. "Daniel always loves surprise parties," Claudia beamed, "and I invited Lucia since you two were friends in university." They had never been friends. Daniel looked as shocked as I felt. The intimate anniversary dinner we had planned lay in ruins. Our private celebration had been hijacked without our consent. I smiled through gritted teeth for 4 painful hours. Later that week, I was preparing for a major client presentation. My laptop contained all the 3D renderings I had created over 3 months. Claudia stopped by unannounced while I was in the shower. She decided to help by organizing my desktop files. She deleted what she called duplicate folders that contained different versions of the same project. Hours of work vanished with a few helpful clicks. "I was just trying to tidy up," she said when I discovered the loss. "Your computer was so cluttered." Daniel suggested I should have backed up my files. He was right about that. He was wrong to miss the larger issue. The problem was never about files or furniture or surprise parties. The problem was boundaries. Claudia had none. Our home had become her satellite house. Our lives were extensions of hers to manage and correct. 7 months ago, we finally saved enough to buy our dream home. a beautiful two-story house with a garden in a quiet neighborhood. The closing process took weeks. We painted each room ourselves. We selected furniture that reflected both our tastes. This house would be different. This house would be ours alone. The day we received our keys was magical. The morning light streamed through our empty living room. Daniel spun me around on the hardwood floors. We had done it. We had created our own space, our sanctuary, our future. That evening, we invited both our families to see the house. 8 people gathered in our unfurnished living room. Claudia arrived carrying a large housewarming gift. Her voice filled the empty space with opinions about wall colors and window treatments. Her fingers traced imaginary furniture placements as she walked from room to room. "You should put the television here," she instructed. "The sofa would work better against that wall." The moment crystallized as we all stood in the kitchen. Daniel proudly showed everyone our new key rings, matching silver keys on leather fobs, his and hers, a symbol of our shared life. "I need a copy of those keys," Claudia announced, "for emergencies, of course." The room grew silent. My father looked down at his shoes. Daniel's sister Martina nodded as if this request made perfect sense. My mother squeezed my arm gently. "Mom, we just moved in," Daniel said weakly. "We can discuss this later." "Nonsense," Claudia replied. "Every mother should have access to her children's homes. What if something happens? What if you lock yourselves out?" 5 sets of eyes turned toward me, waiting, watching. I had been here before. This exact moment had played out with our apartment. I had said nothing then. I had swallowed my objections. I had surrendered my boundaries one key at a time. Something snapped inside me like a twig underfoot, a clean, definitive break. My hands trembled slightly as I set my wine glass on the counter. I looked directly at Claudia for perhaps the first time in our relationship. "No," I said. The word hung in the air between us. Simple, clear, final. "Excuse me?" Claudia's eyebrows shot up toward her hairline. "No," I repeated. "You will not have a key to our new house." Daniel stepped toward me. "Valeria, maybe we should." I touched his arm gently. "This is our home, our private space. No one gets a key but us." "But emergencies," Claudia sputtered. "We have neighbors," I replied. "We have phones. We have locksmiths." My heart pounded against my ribs. My voice remained steady. The emergency is never the real reason for the key. The silence that followed felt eternal. Claudia's face cycled through shock, anger, and calculation. Her smile returned quickly, but her eyes remained cold. "We'll discuss this another time," she said sweetly, "when you're feeling more reasonable." I shook my head slowly. There's nothing to discuss. The answer is no. That night marked the first boundary I had ever firmly drawn with my mother-in-law. It would not be the last. The war for our private space had just begun. But for the first time since meeting Claudia Bennett, I had found my voice. 2 weeks passed since the key confrontation. Claudia called Daniel daily with invented crises. Her sink was leaking. Her car made strange noises. Her computer kept freezing. Each call ended the same way. "If only I had a key, I wouldn't bother you so often." Daniel grew increasingly frustrated. "Maybe we should just give her a key," he suggested one night, "for peace in the family." I placed my coffee mug firmly on our new kitchen table. Peace at what cost? "It's just a key," he argued. It's never just a key, I replied. It's permission to enter our lives whenever she wants. The first real test came when Claudia announced a surprise visit on a Saturday morning, 10 minutes before her arrival, not the customary day's notice most people give. I was still in my pajamas when the doorbell rang. Daniel rushed to answer it. "Sorry, Mom, we were just about to shower," I heard him say. "I won't stay long," Claudia replied. "I brought breakfast pastries." I remained in the bedroom rather than scrambling to dress, rather than rushing to accommodate her impromptu visit, rather than pretending her behavior was acceptable. Daniel handled the visit alone. 20 minutes later, he came to find me. "That was uncomfortable," he said. "She kept asking why you didn't come out." "What did you tell her?" I asked. "That you were busy," he replied. "She didn't believe me." "Good," I said. "She shouldn't believe untruths." The following Tuesday, Claudia texted asking for our new address to update her emergency contacts. We had deliberately not shared our exact address with her yet. Daniel wanted to send it immediately. "She already knows the neighborhood," I reminded him. "She doesn't need our house number." "She's my mother," he protested. "Yes," I agreed, "not our keeper." Each small boundary felt like climbing a steep mountain. Each refusal to bend made breathing easier. Each limit allowed me to reclaim pieces of myself I had surrendered over 3 long years. I began working from home 2 days each week. My productivity doubled without interruptions. My creativity flourished in our peaceful space. My supervisor noticed the improvement in my visualizations. "These renderings have remarkable depth," Marcus commented during our weekly review. "The lighting studies are particularly impressive." I submitted 3 projects for the International Architectural Visualization Awards. I had never felt confident enough before. I had always heard Claudia's voice in my head. "Art isn't a real career. Those computer drawings are just pretty pictures. When will you get a serious job like Daniel?" That voice grew fainter with each passing week. My own voice grew stronger. Daniel and I established a weekly date night. No phones, no family interruptions, just us reconnecting. We visited new restaurants. We walked along the beach at sunset. We remembered why we had fallen in love. "You seem different lately," Daniel observed one evening. "More like the Valeria I met 4 years ago." "I am different," I replied. "I remember who I was before I started shrinking myself." Our new home filled with carefully chosen objects, artwork we both loved, books that reflected our interests, furniture that served our needs. No concessions to Claudia's tastes, no accommodations for her opinions. Our space reflected us completely. Claudia's messages grew more frequent, then stopped abruptly. 2 weeks of silence stretched into 3. Daniel worried something was wrong. I recognized the tactic. Withdrawal of affection as punishment. We had seen this pattern before. "She'll contact us when she's ready," I assured him. On a brilliant Thursday morning, an email arrived that changed everything. I stared at my screen in disbelief. My name appeared among the 5 finalists for the International Architectural Visualization Award. My project, a complex cultural center with challenging light studies, had been selected from over 800 entries. "Daniel!" I shouted. "Come see this!" He raced into the office, coffee mug in hand. His eyes widened as he read the email over my shoulder. His arms wrapped around me tightly. "This is incredible," he whispered. "I'm so proud of you." The award ceremony would be held in Barcelona next month. All finalists would be featured in Architectural Review magazine. The winner would receive a commission to work with renowned architect Sophia Chen on her next major project. I called my parents immediately. Their joyful shouts filled the kitchen. I texted my friend Elena, who responded with 17 exclamation points. I shared the news with my colleagues, who organized an impromptu celebration lunch. I did not tell Claudia. This achievement was mine alone. My success belonged to me, not as leverage in her complex family politics. Not as something she could diminish or redirect. Not as an accomplishment she could take partial credit for through some twisted logic. That evening, Daniel's phone rang during dinner. Claudia's name flashed on the screen. He answered on speakerphone out of habit. Her voice filled our dining room. "Darling," she cooed, "we're having a family dinner this Sunday at our house. Everyone will be there, 3 o'clock sharp." Daniel looked at me before responding. "What's the occasion?" "Does a mother need a special reason to gather her family?" she asked. Yes, I thought. This mother always has reasons. "We'll check our schedule," Daniel replied. Not an automatic yes, not immediate compliance. A small revolution in 6 words. "What schedule?" Claudia laughed. "You two never have plans on Sundays." We had plans every Sunday. We had created intentional routines. Morning coffee in the garden, afternoon walks in the park, evening movies on our comfortable couch. Simple pleasures that were ours alone. "We'll let you know," Daniel insisted. "By tomorrow." After the call ended, he sighed deeply. "Should we go?" "What do you think?" I asked. The old Valeria would have agreed immediately. The new Valeria recognized his agency in the decision. "I think I want to celebrate your achievement this weekend," he said slowly. "Just us." His support felt like sunshine breaking through clouds. His pride in my work felt like solid ground beneath my feet. His choice of me over family obligation felt like a door opening to a new future. The recognition from the architectural community transformed my professional standing overnight. 3 job offers appeared in my inbox by Monday morning. A feature article in Valencia Today highlighted my innovative techniques. Former classmates reached out to reconnect. My world expanded beyond the narrow confines of Claudia's approval. "You could work anywhere now," Daniel mused one evening. "Barcelona, Madrid, even internationally." The possibilities stretched before us like an open road, no longer tied to Valencia by family obligations, no longer limited by Claudia's expectation that we remain close by. Freedom tasted sweet on my tongue. Sunday arrived with perfect weather. Daniel and I packed a picnic lunch and drove to the coastal nature reserve, far from Claudia's family dinner, far from her expectations and manipulations. We spread our blanket on soft grass overlooking the Mediterranean. The future felt limitless. "I never realized how much my mother controlled our lives," Daniel admitted as we watched the waves. "How many decisions we made to please her. I never realized how much I allowed it," I added. "How I surrendered pieces of myself to keep peace." My phone pinged with multiple text notifications. Martina asking where we were, Felipe saying Claudia was upset, 3 missed calls from an unknown number. We silenced our phones and continued our picnic. That evening, we returned to 7 voicemails from Claudia, each message more urgent than the last, each one designed to trigger guilt and compliance, each one ignored as we prepared dinner together in our peaceful kitchen. The award ceremony was 4 weeks away. I purchased a new dress for the occasion, deep blue with silver accents, professional yet confident. I scheduled a hair appointment. I practiced my acceptance speech just in case. I allowed myself to dream of victory. "You're going to win," Daniel declared as he watched me rehearse. "I've never seen anyone work as hard as you." The day before the ceremony, a large envelope arrived from the award committee. Inside lay formal invitations, event schedules, and a glossy program featuring all 5 finalists. My project appeared on page 3 with a detailed description of my techniques, my name in elegant script beneath the image. Validation in tangible form. I had not yet told Daniel's family about the nomination. Not Claudia, not Felipe. Not even Martina, who occasionally sent friendly texts. My success remained protected from their judgment. My achievement remained unsullied by their opinions. This moment belonged to me completely. The phone rang as I admired the program. Daniel answered, then froze. His expression shifted from confusion to anger to disbelief. He handed me the phone without speaking. "Valeria?" Lucia's voice purred through the speaker. "I just wanted to congratulate you on your nomination. Claudia told me all about it." My fingers tightened around the phone. "Claudia told you about my award nomination?" "Yes," Lucia replied. "She mentioned it when we had coffee last week." Coffee with my husband's ex-girlfriend? Information I had deliberately kept private. Two puzzle pieces that shouldn't connect. My mind raced to make sense of this revelation. "How thoughtful of her," I managed to say. "And how did you get this number?" "Claudia gave it to me," Lucia answered casually. "She thought I might want to reconnect with old friends." Daniel took the phone back. His jaw clenched tightly. "Lucia, I need to go." He ended the call and stared at me. "How did my mother know about your nomination?" he asked. That question launched a 3-hour investigation. We checked email accounts, we reviewed social media settings, we called my parents and colleagues. No information leaks appeared in our search. No explanations emerged for Claudia's knowledge. Someone must have told her, Daniel reasoned. Or she found out another way, I suggested. The next morning, I left early for a hair appointment. Daniel called just as I was leaving the salon. His voice sounded strange, distant and close simultaneously, angry and sad in equal measure. "You need to come home," he said, "now." I found him in our home office, his face pale, his hands shaking slightly. Multiple windows open on his computer screen. Email accounts, text messages, social media profiles, all belonging to Claudia. She left her accounts logged in on our old tablet, he explained. The one she borrowed last month. He pointed to messages between Claudia and Lucia stretching back 18 months. Regular coffee dates, constant conversations about Daniel and me, detailed discussions about our marriage. "She never liked Valeria," one message read. "Daniel needs someone more traditional, more family-oriented." "He seemed happier with you," another stated. "They argue constantly about boundaries." Daniel scrolled through more messages. Claudia had asked Lucia to accidentally run into us at various locations around Valencia. Claudia had shared private information about our finances. Claudia had even invited Lucia to family events specifically to create tension. "She's been trying to break us up," Daniel whispered. The conspiracy went deeper. Claudia had created a dedicated chat group called Daniel's Future. 5 people participated: Claudia, Felipe, Martina, Lucia, and Daniel's cousin Teresa. The topic was consistently the same: the unsuitability of Valeria as Daniel's wife. Too ambitious, not interested in children, always working, pulling Daniel away from family. Each accusation stung like a paper cut, small individually, devastating collectively. Some claims were outright lies, others were twisted versions of truth. All were designed to undermine our marriage. "How did she find out about your award?" Daniel asked again. We found our answer in an email dated 3 weeks ago. Claudia to Daniel's cousin who worked in the advertising industry. Need information on International Architectural Visualization Award finalists. Client asking. Very urgent. She had used her business connections to access confidential information. She had violated my privacy for her own purposes. She had transformed my greatest professional achievement into ammunition against me. There's more, Daniel said quietly. Messages between Claudia and a real estate agent in Valencia. Discussions about a small apartment near their family home, available immediately. Perfect for when Daniel comes to his senses. Dated just 2 weeks ago. My hands trembled as I stepped away from the computer. The scope of the conspiracy overwhelmed me. The depth of Claudia's manipulation stunned me. The betrayal by people we considered family crushed me. Daniel's face hardened as he continued reading. She accessed our security cameras, he said flatly. She has the password to our home system. The invasion of privacy felt like a physical blow. Our intimate moments, our private conversations, our sanctuary breached more completely than any physical key could allow. She's been watching us, I whispered, in our own home. 4 hours later, we had changed every password, security system, email accounts, social media profiles, banking information, Wi-Fi network. Every digital door now locked firmly against intrusion. Every virtual window secured against prying eyes. She's been watching us, I whispered, in our own home. 4 hours later, we had changed every password, security system, email accounts, social media profiles, banking information, Wi-Fi network. Every digital door now locked firmly against intrusion. Every virtual window secured against prying eyes. She's been watching us, I whispered, in our own home. 4 hours later, we had changed every password, security system, email accounts, social media profiles, banking information, Wi-Fi network. Every digital door now locked firmly against intrusion. Every virtual window secured against prying eyes. Daniel paced our living room. His phone buzzed constantly with messages from his family. Claudia, Felipe, Martina, even Teresa, all suddenly concerned about his absence, all mysteriously aware that something had changed. "What do we do?" he asked finally. We answered, together. The award ceremony was tomorrow evening. Claudia's 60th birthday celebration was scheduled for the following weekend. 25 guests, upscale restaurant, speeches prepared, gifts purchased, a milestone event she had been planning for months. "I'm not going to her party," Daniel stated firmly. "Not after this." "Actually," I replied slowly, "I think we should both attend." My plan formed as I spoke it aloud. Not revenge, not petty retaliation. Something more powerful, something more permanent. Truth exposed to light, manipulation revealed before witnesses, boundaries established once and for all. "Are you sure?" Daniel asked. "Completely sure," I answered. The award ceremony in Barcelona felt like stepping into another world, a world where my talent mattered, where my ambition was celebrated, where my vision was respected. 200 people gathered in the grand ballroom of Hotel Catalonia. I did not win first place. I placed third among 5 exceptional finalists. The bronze medal hung around my neck felt heavier than gold. The certificate acknowledged excellence in my field. The connections made that evening promised future opportunities. "Congratulations," Sophia Chen said as she shook my hand. "Your light studies were remarkable. Send me your portfolio when you have time." Daniel beamed with genuine pride throughout the evening. He introduced himself as Valeria's husband to everyone we met. He spoke of my accomplishments with admiration. He stood beside me as an equal partner, not as Claudia's son. We returned to Valencia the following day. Our phones remained silent by mutual agreement. No calls to share my success, no messages to Claudia or her allies, no announcements on social media. The information embargo remained intact. The morning of Claudia's birthday celebration arrived with perfect spring weather. I selected my outfit carefully. Professional, elegant, confident. The blue dress from the award ceremony, with my bronze medal pin attached to the lapel, physical evidence of my success. Daniel chose a suit I had never seen before. New beginning, he explained. New me. We arrived at the restaurant exactly on time. Not early to help with preparations, not late to make an entrance. Precisely punctual, as expected of well-mannered guests. 23 people had already gathered on the restaurant's garden terrace. Claudia stood at the center, wearing a cream-colored dress. Felipe beside her. Martina arranging gift boxes on a side table. Lucia, surprisingly, chatting with Teresa near the bar. Claudia's smile froze when she saw us. Her eyes darted to Daniel's face, to my dress, to our clasped hands, searching for signs of knowledge, for indications of discovery, for hints that her careful plans had been exposed. "You came," she said finally. "I wasn't sure you would." "We wouldn't miss your 60th birthday," Daniel replied evenly. The party proceeded according to Claudia's meticulous plan. Champagne flowed freely. Waiters circulated with trays of appetizers. Conversations hummed around tables decorated with fresh flowers. A photographer captured candid moments for posterity. I smiled politely when introduced to Claudia's friends. I answered questions about my work with professional brevity. I accepted condolences about not winning the architectural award from people who should not have known about it. "Such a shame you only placed third," one of Claudia's Bridge Club friends commented, "after all that work." The moment for speeches arrived after the main course. Felipe stood first to toast his wife of 35 years. Friends from her real estate office shared amusing anecdotes. Martina read a poem she had written for the occasion. Each tribute built Claudia's image as devoted mother, successful businesswoman, and family matriarch. Daniel rose when called upon, his hands steady, his voice clear, his prepared speech abandoned in favor of truth. "Today, we celebrate not just a birthday," he began, "but a revelation." The terrace fell silent as Daniel's words hung in the air. 25 faces turned toward him expectantly. Claudia's smile remained fixed, but her eyes narrowed slightly. My heart pounded against my ribs as I watched the scene unfold. "A revelation," Daniel continued, "about boundaries, about respect." He reached for my hand under the table, his fingers intertwined with mine, a silent confirmation that we faced this moment together. "3 days ago, I discovered something disturbing," he said. "A conspiracy organized by my own mother." Gasps rippled around the tables. Claudia's smile vanished entirely. Felipe shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Martina suddenly found her napkin fascinating. "A group chat called Daniel's Future," he announced. "Secret meetings with my ex-girlfriend. Plans to separate me from my wife." Daniel pulled out his phone. "Would anyone like to see the messages? I have screenshots." "Daniel," Claudia interrupted sharply, "this is hardly the time or place." "It's exactly the time and place," he cut in. "Your birthday, your friends, your family, the people you've been lying to about my marriage." He turned to address the gathering. My mother accessed our home security system without permission. She monitored our private conversations. She used business connections to obtain confidential information about my wife's career. The photographer had stopped taking pictures. The waiters hovered uncertainly near the kitchen door. Claudia's friends exchanged uncomfortable glances. "Daniel, you're obviously upset," Claudia attempted again. "Perhaps we should discuss this privately." "No more private discussions," I said, standing beside my husband. "No more secrets. No more manipulation." I unpinned the bronze medal from my dress. I held it up so everyone could see it clearly in the evening light. "Last weekend, I received this at the International Architectural Visualization Awards," I explained. "Third place among 800 entries worldwide. A fact Claudia discovered by having her niece spy on confidential industry information." Claudia's friend Pilar gasped audibly. "You never mentioned Valeria was nominated for an award." "Because it didn't fit her narrative," Daniel replied. "Success doesn't match the image of Valeria she wanted you all to believe." Claudia rose from her chair, her face flushed with anger and embarrassment, her carefully constructed facade crumbling before her assembled guests. "You're overreacting," she hissed. "I was only trying to protect you." "From what?" Daniel demanded. "From a successful, loving wife? From independence? From happiness that doesn't revolve around you?" Felipe finally found his voice. "Claudia, what have you done?" Lucia stood abruptly and moved toward the exit. Teresa followed quickly. Both accomplices fleeing the public exposure of their roles in the conspiracy. "Stay," I called after them, my voice stronger than I expected. "Everyone should hear the full truth." I approached Claudia directly, the woman who had undermined me for years, the woman who had invaded my privacy, the woman who had tried to destroy my marriage. "From the moment we met, you decided I wasn't good enough for your son," I said quietly. "You never gave me a chance." "That's not true," Claudia protested weakly. "You demanded keys to our apartment," I continued. "You entered without permission. You rearranged our furniture. You criticized my cooking. You invited my husband's ex-girlfriend to family events." With each accusation, Claudia seemed to physically shrink. Her shoulders hunched forward. Her confident posture collapsed inward. "When we bought our house, you immediately demanded keys again," I pressed on. "When I refused, you created a group chat to plan my removal from Daniel's life." Martina finally looked up from her napkin. "Mom, tell me you didn't really do all that." Claudia's friend Sophia moved her chair slightly away from Claudia. Her business partner Eduardo checked his watch and signaled for the bill. Her carefully cultivated social circle began to dissolve before her eyes. "You don't understand," Claudia pleaded. "Family comes first. I was protecting our traditions." "No," Daniel stated firmly. "You were protecting your control." He placed a small velvet box on the table, the birthday gift we had purchased weeks ago before discovering the conspiracy, before understanding the depth of betrayal. "Happy birthday, Mom," he said. "Here's your gift. What you won't be getting is keys to our home, access to our private lives, or control over our future." Claudia stared at the small box but made no move to open it. Tears gathered in her eyes, not tears of remorse, but of exposure. Not sadness, but thwarted manipulation. "We're leaving now," Daniel announced to the silent gathering. "Enjoy the rest of the celebration." We walked toward the exit together, heads high, hands clasped, boundaries firmly established before 23 witnesses, the ultimate public statement that the rules had changed permanently. "Daniel, wait!" Felipe called after us. Daniel paused but didn't turn around. His father approached slowly, his face lined with concern and confusion. "Did she really do all those things?" he asked quietly. "Ask to see her phone," Daniel suggested. "The evidence is there." Felipe nodded slowly. "I had no idea." "That's the problem," Daniel replied. "No one was paying attention." We left Claudia's birthday celebration with the weight of years lifted from our shoulders. The fresh evening air tasted like freedom. The stars above Valencia seemed brighter somehow. The future stretched before us unmarred by toxic influence. 3 days later, the messages began arriving. Martina apologizing for her complicity. Felipe expressing shock and dismay. Friends of Claudia's admitting they had witnessed her controlling behavior for years. Each message acknowledged the truth we had exposed. Claudia herself remained silent for 2 full weeks. No calls, no texts, no unexpected visits. The silence felt like a gift after years of intrusion. The peace in our home deepened with each passing day. "Do you think she'll ever understand?" I asked Daniel one evening as we sat in our garden. "I don't know," he answered honestly, "but her understanding isn't required for our happiness." 6 months later, our lives had transformed completely. I accepted a position with Sophia Chen's architectural firm. Daniel arranged to work remotely 3 days each week. We traveled to Barcelona regularly for my projects. Our world expanded beyond Valencia, beyond family obligation, beyond Claudia's sphere of influence. Felipe visited us twice during those months, alone without Claudia. His relationship with his wife strained by revelations about her behavior. His eyes opened to patterns he had ignored for decades. His apologies to me sincere and repeated. "She's seeing a therapist now," he mentioned during his second visit. "It was that, or I would leave." "Is it helping?" Daniel asked. "Hard to tell," Felipe admitted. 35 years of behavior doesn't change overnight. Martina reached out regularly with tentative messages. Her complicity had been minimal compared to others. Her awakening seemed genuine. Her desire to rebuild a relationship with her brother appeared sincere. "Family gatherings will be awkward for years," Daniel observed. "Only if we attend them," I replied. 8 months after the birthday confrontation, an envelope arrived from Valencia. Claudia's handwriting on the outside. No return address, no note inside. Just a single key on a plain ring. The key to our old apartment, the one she had demanded and received. The one she had used to invade our privacy countless times. The one she had finally returned as a silent acknowledgement that something had changed. Daniel placed the key in a small shadow box. A reminder of boundaries established, of truth exposed, of freedom reclaimed. We hung it in our home office beside my bronze medal, symbols of our journey together. 1 year after the confrontation, we received a formal invitation. Claudia and Felipe's 36th wedding anniversary. A small gathering at their home. The invitation addressed to both of us. No manipulation evident in the wording. No hidden agenda apparent in the timing. "Should we go?" Daniel asked. "What do you think?" I replied. We decided together, as we now decided everything. A brief appearance, clear boundaries, an opportunity to assess if genuine change had occurred, a chance to determine if any relationship remained possible. The gathering was smaller than expected, 15 people instead of the usual 30 or more. Close family only. No bridge club ladies, no business associates, no Lucia or Teresa in sight. Claudia greeted us at the door. Her hair more gray than before, her posture less commanding, her smile cautious rather than confident. "Thank you," she said simply. "It means a lot." She made no attempt to hug Daniel, no move to air kiss my cheeks, no presumption of intimacy we had not granted. The physical distance between us spoke volumes about lessons learned. The evening progressed without incident. Conversations remained superficial but polite, no probing questions, no unsolicited advice, no comments about my career or our childless status, just ordinary small talk among cautious adults. As we prepared to leave, Claudia approached us alone, her hands clasped tightly before her, her eyes focused somewhere near our shoulders rather than our faces. "I'm sorry," she said softly, "for everything." 2 words, inadequate to address years of manipulation, insufficient to erase the conspiracy we had discovered, yet perhaps the only possible beginning for whatever might come next. Daniel nodded once. Not forgiveness exactly, more acknowledgement that her words had been heard, that effort had been noted, that the smallest seed of change had been recognized. "Good night, Mom," he said. "Happy anniversary." We drove home in comfortable silence. Our beautiful house waited for us, our private sanctuary, our keys the only ones that would ever open its doors. "Do you think she's really changed?" I asked as we turned onto our street. "I think she's learning that she has to," Daniel replied, "if she wants any relationship with us." The porch light welcomed us home, the garden path we had designed together. The front door painted the exact blue I had chosen. Our house, our rules, our boundaries. I unlocked the door with my key, the only copy that would ever exist outside our possession. The symbol of our hard-won independence. The physical representation of limits clearly drawn and firmly maintained. "I'm glad I finally said no," I whispered as we stepped inside. "So am I," Daniel agreed, closing the door behind us.